Morning, guys. Sorry, I had some technical difficulties there. My computer's going a little slow, but welcome back. We have a special edition today on this Monday. So this podcast here is called The Hustle and Grow Show. And this is your go-to podcast for any entrepreneur, whether you're just starting out, whether you're trying to figure out your success, or you want to hear from others and learn their personal strengths, struggles, all of the above. So today's a little different. If you've seen my show before, you know that I typically go live on Tuesdays, but I wanted to do something special, bring in a special guest with us today for some Monday mindset. So our special guest today is going to be Mr. Perry Lunsford. He's an absolute legend in the world of entrepreneurship. And I myself have learned several things from him and just helped me on my personal journey and growth. So yeah, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring in Mr. Bossman, Perry Lunsford. Okay, maybe. My computer is not wanting to work today. Sorry, guys. Hey, we did it.
I made it. How are you, sister?
You made it.
It's a beautiful day.
Excited to have you here today. It is.
Yeah. It's 90 degrees outside. I'll take it. It's convertible weather.
I wish I had
that's
one.
That's why I wore this shirt. Made me put the red bottoms on. Wanted to feel good today. Dress like I'm in a tropical environment, and turn the air conditioner up really high in the office. So
love that. And we're kind of matching today. We got the black vibe going on.
That's right. Well, how can I be of assistance to you today, my friend?
Yes, sir. So I guess just briefly kind of share a little bit about your background, your journey as an entrepreneur, including any kind of pivotal moments that led to your current success now.
Sure. I was in fourth grade when my dad quit his job and started his own company. I would say it probably took him 6 years to really get it off the ground right. By the time I and I remember the first day that he had like business cards and he had hats with his name, with the company name on it, and I just remember seeing those and being completely fascinated, and all I wanted to be when I grew up was in business for myself. I was like, who's your boss now? And he was like, I don't have a boss. I was like, that's what I want. So graduated high school, started my first company, sold it at 20 for like $10,000 or something like that. Joined the Air Force for 10 years, bought, built, and sold hot rods during that time. So lived in a nice house, drove a nice car while the rest of my friends were living in the dorms. Got out of the Air Force, had an idea people would go online and do something. I was lucky enough to be right because I was pretty decent at marketing. And they did it. And I sold that company, retired for a couple of years, raised my 2 kids. And found a company that was going out of business, took it over, turned it from one location to multiple locations, made a left where I should have made a right, lost everything. I was broke off my ass. And then walked into the health insurance world accidentally, fell in love, hated the way they did things, decided to do it my own way. And that's kind of worked out pretty well for me. That was a little over 5 years ago. So it's changed my life.
Awesome. I know. And so I did kind of introduce in the description of this live show that you are kind of one of the leading leaders here in the insurance business. And like I mentioned, I learned a lot from you thus far. I've only been in the game for about almost 3 months now and couldn't ask for a better mentor myself. So got a lot of knowledge to share. You're welcome.
I'm impressed by you.
Thank you. I'm trying. All the things. Like, I'm sure people would be sick of me really soon on social media because I'd never stop talking.
Love it.
So Mondays are kind of often seen as a fresh start to the week. So how do you personally approach Mondays and really set a positive tone for the rest of your week?
Well, first thing is I hate, most people live for the weekends, and I don't. I love what I do. Working is my life, right? I love my wife. I raise my kids. I build my companies and I drive my cars. That's it. That's all I do. So the weekends, I enjoy them, but to me, it's just stress that I don't get to do the things I love. So for me, as far as Monday goes, I try to look good. I try to feel good. I make sure that I do a book or something that gets my head in the right place on the way to work. And I just try to make sure it's the first most productive day of the week. You know what I
I
mean?
love that.
Like if you're walking out of Monday and you're not where you need to be, man, that's an uncomfortable position. But walking out of Monday where you need to be just makes Tuesday that much better. So we finish our weeks in the sales world, like a lot of places in the sales world, we finish our weeks on Thursdays. So Fridays are our Mondays. So that's the stressful day for me. Like what are we going to be able to do today? But Monday's just the day that I want to look good and feel good.
I love that. I kind of agree because I know I came from a teaching background, so
Right.
Mondays were my terrible day. I hated Mondays when I was a teacher because all the kids came back from the weekend. They probably had donuts for breakfast on Monday. I was like, please God, get me out of here.
Right.
So now in the insurance world, I agree with you 100%. Mondays are my days where I really hit the ground running. So like we kind of just mentioned, do you have any like current or how do you currently handle any setbacks or obstacles that may arise early in the week? And how does your mindset play a role in overcoming those obstacles?
Uh, I think, obstacles are what build us, right? I always say that we learn from our L's and the W's keep us going. And so there is no failure, or well, there is for some people. But as long as you're learning from that failure and you're taking steps to make sure that particular failure doesn't happen again, it doesn't bother me, right? We're in a numbers world, and what I try to teach the people that are concerned about numbers is let's stop worrying about numbers and let's worry about people, let's worry about culture, let's worry about action. And when you worry about people, culture, and action, the numbers just take care of themselves, right? And typically, when the numbers start falling, it's usually one of those three things. You're not taking care of your people, you're not taking care of your culture, or you're just not taking care of your action.
That makes sense. I
Yeah,
feel
I
like,
don't know. I don't even remember what your question was. I'm not sure if I answered it, but
yeah, I did
that was
because
the
we were
direction
talking
my brain
about
went.
we were talking about like overcoming obstacles, and
Right.
for me that makes sense because when I first started out, I didn't know what direction was going to be the best for me in terms of generating clientele or just like building. And a lot of people in the sales world will say that relationships are typically what everyone goes for first. And that's something that I do for myself as well. I don't mind, getting on the phone and calling a day, but I really wanted to do something different, kind of like you did with your business model as well, where you kind of took to social media.
Right.
But the biggest challenges I've had, and like you just said, it goes back to, am I putting in the action? Am I taking care of the people? Am I doing all the things necessary? And so I guess my question is on that topic, what is the best way to know or kind of gauge that you're doing everything correctly if you are doing tons of things at one time? Trying to
I
stump you
guess
today.
in this world, you can look at your paycheck, right? I mean, I believe that in this world, people make exactly the amount of money they think they're worth, right? So if at the end of the week you look at your paycheck and you made $500, okay, well, you are paid exactly equivalent to the value you created for your clients and the company, right? So if you don't make any money, that means you created zero value for your clients and zero value for the parent companies that pay you. And so if you made 500, then you created $500 worth of value. And if you created 5,000 or 15,000, that's how much value you created. So how much how do you know if you're putting in enough work? Well, the answer is, did you create the value that gave you the paycheck that you wanted? Well, if the answer is no, then that leads me to believe that you created the exact amount of value that you think you're worth, right?
That makes
And
sense.
so if you went to bed at 9 o'clock, you got off work you stopped working at 5, you started working at 8:30, you took all the time that you spent bullshitting about bullshit and you added all that time off, then and you made X number of dollars, then clearly that's what you think you're worth. Period. I mean, that's hard to argue. So if you
Exactly.
think you're worth 7 figures, that's what you make here. If you think you're worth $1,000 a week, that's what you make here. If you think you're worth nothing, that's exactly what you made here. When I first started here, I worked from 5:30 in the morning till 10:30 at night, 7 days a week, every single day, 7 days a week for 6 months. And I did that because I felt my value was $2,500 a week in the very beginning. So for the first couple of months, I was like, I have to make $2,500 a week or I'm going to go bankrupt. And that's what it took. 5:30 in the morning till 10:30 at night. I was trained on what insurance was and not much else. So I had no funnel. I had no pipeline. I had no pitch. I had no knowledge. And it took that much time every single day to create the value or to create that income stream. So I thought in the beginning I was worth this much money. And then over time, I went, okay, now I'm worth this much. And so I would put in the work that it required to get that, and then this much. And then,
That
so
makes
that's how you
sense.
know if you're working hard enough.
Love that.
You look, you know that on Friday.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. And I love that analogy, I guess you would say. I've heard you share that many times, and it really does put into perspective and kind of give you like a visual of how you're going to create that for yourself. You have to have your own value, your own outlook on what you want for your business. And without that, like you said, there's stuff that you're going to bring to the table.
Well, the nice
Sorry,
thing
my
about
nose
me
is.
is I only say about 17 things, might be up to 18 now. And so once you learn those 17 or 18 things, I'm kind of worthless.
I don't know. You've got a lot of good tricks up your sleeve that I'm still learning every day. And every time I come in, you say something different, and I'm like, where do you get this shit from? Like, how do you know this? And I love it.
A lot of time
Um,
in the lotus position thinking.
what is that?
I
Really?
think it's a yoga move. I don't know.
I've never heard of it. So,
Okay. Well,
um,
maybe I just made that up and did not.
well, maybe I'll just look it up after this. Google. Somebody in the comments, look it up. I'm playing. So, let's see. Where do I want to go next? What what techniques, I guess, or strategy? I know we've kind of said the same question, but in a different format. But like actually getting down to the logistics of it. What like techniques and strategies do you personally use to keep yourself on track, stay on focused on your goals, especially when starting out fresh on Monday? Like, what do you do?
What technique do I use to stay on track? I don't really have any other hobbies to take up my time. I'm not really interested in TikTok. Um, I don't really care what other people think about on social media, uh, unless we're having, an occasional argument about whether or not DC is better than Marvel or Marvel is better than DC. There's just not much I give a shit about other than getting whatever job I need to get done. That said, sometimes something occurs to me. I don't stay focused in. I'll stay focused in one direction too much, and then I'll notice that over here things are lacking, and then maybe I accidentally go too hard on that side, and then over here is lacking, and so a lot of times I'll catch myself, full throttle in one direction and then full throttle in another direction, and just the human nature in me too often swings back and forth. And it's like, well, all right, well, I'm just going to eliminate everything over here. I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm only focusing on this side, but then the phone keeps ringing, right? And there's always something to distract you. But as long as you're staying busy, what's typically going to distract you is work, right? And if your phone's not ringing or you're not calling, and something's distracting you other than work, well, yeah, I don't know how to get around that. The people here aren't that entertaining.
Except for me. Just kidding. But on that same topic, and it's kind of a question that I wanted to ask personally for myself, being a parent and a business owner can sometimes be tricky to handle, especially with all the crazy schedules that go on. So
Right.
What do you think is the best advice or tip to maintain a work balance, a life balance, and be able to be a parent?
I think I'm a pretty shitty parent. I'm better than most people, but that's because most people go too far in one direction or another. Um, but there are times that, your kids aren't going to get the attention that you want to give them, right? And as long as your your that attention is pointed in a direction that makes their life better, if not today, then tomorrow, then too bad, so sad sometimes, right? Kids don't get all the attention they want. As long as they're not on, keep them off their phone and give them a ball and tell them to go or a bicycle and tell them to get their happy ass outside. Every time I start a company, because I've done it several times, my son will come to me and he was like, "Dad, see you in 6 months," right? Now, I've never missed a football game, right? I've missed a couple of choir concerts, but that's just because I hate choir. I've never missed a baseball game. I don't miss the important things. Choir concerts are important to me, sorry. But listen, I saw this meme meme on social media a couple of days ago, and it said the only person that's going to remember in 20 years, the only person that's going to remember that you worked overtime are your kids. And I was like, first off, this is horseshit. I remember my father worked overtime, and it's the reason that this office is mine today. Because my dad worked his ass off. So yeah, my dad wasn't there 24 hours a day helicoptering over my happy ass, right? So freaking what? Nobody's dad helicopters over them. We had a roof over our home, right? The water never got turned off. The electric.
Uh-oh.
Hang on. There you go. Sorry about that. The electricity never got turned off. The water never got turned off. We made our house payments. You know why? Because my dad worked overtime building his company. And then when we went on vacation, I was all his. When I go on vacation with my kids, I'm all theirs. I work a lot of hours, and then we don't do birthday gifts here. We do one-on-one trips with the children. So for my daughter's birthday is coming up, we're going to New York City, just the two of us. My son's birthday, we go to Costa Rica and go surfing, right? Whatever the hell they want to do, that's what we do. But my dad worked his ass off to take care of us, and to sit around and complain that and to insinuate that your kids are the only ones who are going to remember that you worked a lot. Well, maybe you need to do a little bit better job of raising them to be more appreciative of how hard it is, because being a grown up is freaking hard, and taking care of kids is freaking hard. And the best way to take care of your kids is to make money so you can take care of them. And when you're with them, you're all with them. And when you're not, you're all working. Just love what you do and love the people that you do it with, and love your kids all the time. But helicoptering over them is absolutely horse shit. And to think that you need a helicopter over your kid is horse shit. But that said, giving your kid an iPad and telling them to sit and stare at YouTube and letting somebody else raise them is is just as stupid. So that's my opinion on it. I like working.
Facts. I love that. And I will say, I'm totally an iPad mom. Sorry.
Yeah, well, talking to you too.
But that's my kids are younger, and if I bring them to the office,
Don't give me a bullshit answer.
I mean,
That's
okay,
bullshit.
it's either
that's your excuse for not doing it.
Okay,
that's your
but
excuse
when I'm
for
on
not
the
doing
phone,
it.
So what do you do? What would you do then on that topic?
Give them a book.
So she's one of my daughters too. She can't read yet.
Then give her a toy. Buy her a Hot Wheel. Let her use her imagination. Get her a puzzle. Give her some crayons.
Fair enough.
There you go.
I'll take that into consideration then. Appreciate that.
It is easier to give them that.
It is.
But you will regret it. You will regret it. I promise you. You think it's easier now. Everything's difficult. You get to choose difficult now or difficult later. Right? Do you want difficult now or do you want difficult later? So all the time, that's the whole point of a W-2 job. We'll make it easy for you now. We'll give you $40,000 a year. But when you're 50, you're only going to be making 100 and you're going to be broke off your ass. Right? Same choice. I can teach my kids to entertain themselves now and learn, or I can give them an iPad, and that way when they're older, they're self-sufficient. Or I can give them an iPad now because that's easy. And then when they're older, they'll be crawling up my ass and not know how to gas the car up.
That makes sense. Because I mean, realistically thinking about it, coming from a teacher's standpoint background, I think that giving my son the iPad has kind of been a very negative aspect, and I can understand that now because he doesn't have the desire to learn.
Right.
You know? And that's my fault too, though.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to play catch up.
And listen, I ain't perfect, but knowing what's right and doing what's right are two different things.
That's true. That's true. So I guess trying to maintain a positive mindset is what I believe is essential for long-term success, especially in the entrepreneurial world. So can you just share a couple of examples on how your mindset has influenced your entrepreneurial journey and contributed to your achievements?
I want to be I want to be the best in the world at what I choose to do. So now that doesn't mean, and so I try to be picky about what I do. Also, our parents always told us, do something you love and you'll never work a day in your life. Well, I think that's a dumb thing to do. Like, I used to love working out, then I owned a chain of fitness centers. Now I hate working out, ruins it, right? But what you can do is love the aspects you're great at what you do, and then make enough money to go do the things you really love. Meaning, I love mentoring people. I love building companies. Yeah, I don't love selling health insurance. Nobody in the world loves selling health insurance. That's stupid. But I'm really freaking good at it, and I'm really good at training other people and teaching other people and mentoring other people and hopefully inspiring other people. And so I focus on those sections because that's the section I love. I love driving cars, but I'm not going to be a professional race car driver, right? So I'll just go do this, make enough money to buy the race cars I want, and just do that on my own and have fun doing it. So how do I stay motivated? I focus on the portions of my job that I love, right? You love making content. Great. Love it. Keep going. Right? That doesn't mean we don't focus on the parts that we're not great at. That doesn't mean we don't read books on the part that we're not great at. Doesn't mean we don't listen to podcasts on the part that we're not great at, because we have to, it's easier to sharpen the sharp end of the sword than the dull side. But sometimes we still got to ask for the close. We still got to do X, Y, and Z. But I love what you're doing. I love that you love creating this content. And so you're just going all in on it, and just make sure it gets better every single day, 1% better if not more. And that's like I told you last week, you were like, what do you think of my content? I go, the truth is I like it, but it really doesn't matter what I think of it right now. What matters to me is how great it's going to be 1 year from now. Right.
Right. I'm excited for the growth. I'm learning
Yeah.
everything. I really dove head first into this. I don't even have a background with sales at all. I don't have a background with social media, anything like that. And I just
Right.
immersed myself into it. Asked you for advice. I've watched podcasts. I've reached out to other people on social media like Camper, and I believe that
Massive
if
action.
you want to do something, if you want to do something and you don't know how to do it, the only way to figure it out is by learning and making yourself more knowledgeable. So that's what I try to do every day.
Massive action 100% of the time will produce results. Will it produce the results you want? I don't know. It depends on which direction you're pointing that action. But massive action will always produce results.
It'll always win. So we'll kind of just wrap it up here in just a minute. Since we're on the topic, can you recommend any, books, podcasts, resources that have had an impact on shaping your mindset to share with our viewers today?
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody has different books that they need, right? But there are a few that, if you're an entrepreneur, are vital. The first most important, not the most important book I've ever read, but the first most important book I've ever read was The E-Myth. I don't know that you need to read that right now. How to Win Friends and Influence People. I make my children read. As you begin even the smallest amount to create a higher income, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. If you're in sales, Way of the Wolf. If you're an entrepreneur, 10X, 100%. I like reading books about human nature and why we do the things we do. To me, that's where leadership and sales come in. I like reading books.
Uh-oh. He's doing a lot of disappearing acts for us today, keeping it mysterious for us. Give him a second, see if he comes back in. Maybe. Okay. Well, that's all right. I'll go ahead and link in afterwards on the YouTube channel the books he was mentioning, and we'll kind of just wrap it up there. Maybe technical difficulties. StreamYard's been crazy today. There he is. He came back. He did the Houdini on us.
Yeah, my alarm keeps going off for some reason. And every time it does that, everything falls apart. Sorry. But those are some recommendations. But to me, it's not just reading a book about what's going on in your life. Most people need to read Unfuck Yourself badly. I would say 99% of people need to read that. Yeah, but everybody's got something different that they need to read. But those are a few that I think are necessities just for everyone in life.
Love that.
Yeah.
So any final thoughts you want to share with the viewers today? Any upcoming developments for yourself?
Have a beautiful day.
Love that. Everyone have a beautiful day. Thank you so much for joining us today, Perry. It was a pleasure having you.
Sorry for disappearing on you, sister.
It's okay. You kept it mysterious. Mother toes.
Bye,
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye, friends.